Make me move, make me move, make me move, make me move, make me.
And welcome to Wise Guys. These guys know sports. Here live on the Worldwide Sports Network. Everybody remember going to follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. Come on in and sit with our folks. We got an action jam-packed show. So many things to get into. The NFL playoffs are upon us. It's NFL Super Wild Card Weekend. So it's going to be a great weekend of football. I'm here for it. I'm going to preview each game in the NFL this weekend for Wild Card Weekend. It's some big-time matchups. Browns, Texans, Dolphins, Chiefs, Steelers, Bills in the AFC and in the NFC. Packers, Cowboys, Eagles, Bucks, and Rams, Lions. So some big-time matchups in the NFL. I'm going to preview each game a little bit later on in the show, but not before I discuss some legends. It's been a wild week in sports, specifically in college football and in the NFL, with Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick no longer being a part of the Seattle Seahawks or New England Patriots organization, and also Nick Saban retired earlier this week. So I'm going to get into all of that as well. The number to dial is 513-203-8655. 513-203-8655. That is the number to dial. Any particular topic that you want to discuss, we could talk about it on the show this afternoon. And also, I'm going to have my man Tony Hollinsworth join me a little bit later on in the show. We're going to talk some college football as well, so be sure to tune in for that. So a lot of things to get to in here in the show this afternoon. And if you have any feedback, anything you want to comment and say, again, 513-203-8655 is the number to dial. But We begin in the NFL with the end of an era coming to an end in New England as the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick have agreed to mutually part ways after 24 seasons. Bill Belichick won 6 Super Bowls with the New England Patriots. His last Super Bowl came in 2018. So, as I woke up Wednesday, this is after Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks went their separate ways. This is also after Nick Saban retired. I woke up Wednesday, January the 9th, and the news came to my phone about Bill Belichick and how the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick are going their separate ways. And so my immediate reaction to the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick going their separate ways was Bill Belichick was the greatest NFL head coach of all time. Now, I want to talk about the good before I talk about the bad when it comes to Bill Belichick. You look at Bill Belichick and what he was able to accomplish while he was the head coach and general manager for the New England Patriots. This is Bill Belichick's resume over 24 years as a head coach. He went 296 and 133. He won 30 playoff games. He won 17 AFC East titles. He won 9 AFC championship games. And he won 6 Super Bowls. And to give you more context, while Bill Belichick was the head coach for the New England Patriots in the AFC East between the New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, and Buffalo Bills, there were 25 head coaches that were hired and fired in between the time when Bill Belichick started being the head coach in New England and when he just departed Wednesday. 25 head coaches in the Bill Belichick era in New England. Talk about stability. And one of the things that I feel like Bill Belichick doesn't get enough credit for is his ability to have a disciplined football team. And each and every week, when you watch New England Patriots, sometimes there were opposing players who played at a high level in a specific game, and the Patriots could lose games. It happened in the Super Bowl when they went up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Foles had a tremendous performance. Now, Tom Brady still threw for over 500 passing yards in that Super Bowl, but Nick Foles played out of his mind, and the Philadelphia Eagles upset the New England Patriots. But that was because Foles had one of those performances no one saw coming. And so we also witnessed Eli Manning, who's not a great quarterback. Hell, I don't even know if Eli Manning is a good quarterback. But in the Super Bowl, when he went up against the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick, Eli Manning had 2 great performances, and he was clutch in both of those Super Bowls when he went up against the Patriots. But it took that type of performance to beat the Patriots. Where I'm going at with it is, it was something that happened that we didn't see coming. It's almost like the unexpected had to happen in order for the New England Patriots to lose in the postseason in the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady era. That's what it was. And so that's because Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, they never beat themselves. And so that's why I say that the New England Patriots in the Bill Belichick era was one of the more disciplined football teams in the last quarter of a century. They never beat themselves. Also, they were always prepared. Always prepared. We never watched the New England Patriots football game and thought, gee, they're not really prepared tonight. they're not really ready to play football this afternoon. That never happened in the Bill Belichick era. And so that's one thing I give Belichick credit for is having a disciplined football team. Also, I feel like Bill Belichick did a tremendous job in the dynasty, during the New England Patriots dynasty. He did a tremendous job having some great defensive players in his defensive personnel room during his tenure. You look at some of these players who played for Bill Belichick: Richard Seymour, Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, Vince Wilfork, Rodney Harrison, Ty Law, Mike Vrabel, Asante Samuel, Devin McCourty, Stephon Gilmore, Rob Ninkovich. And the reason why I bring all these players up who played for Bill Belichick, who were tremendous defensive players, the reason why I bring those players up is because Belichick knew how to manage that great defensive personnel. Because I'm going to get to Tom Brady here in a minute and what he meant to Bill Belichick's legacy. But in the early part of the Patriots dynasty, before Tom Brady became Tom Brady, it was the New England Patriots defense that helped the Patriots win their first few Super Bowls. Tom Brady, in the first 2 Super Bowls, maybe even first 3, dare I say, Tom Brady was a game manager. He was a game manager at the beginning of his career before he became great. So why were the New England Patriots competing and winning Super Bowls? They were competing and winning Super Bowls because of Bill Belichick. And so I can't say enough about the job that he's done in 24 years. Listen, I'm 33 years old. I just turned 33 December 26th. And so for majority of my adult life, Bill Belichick has been the head coach and the general manager in the face of the New England Patriots organization. And it's just amazing what he's been able to accomplish in his career, and the stability is what does it for me. The stability and holding players accountable as well. He coaches hard. Bill Belichick coaches players hard. Like he's not one of these new age head coaches who is a player's coach. That's not Bill Belichick. He's not a player's coach. Now, does he have great relationships with his players? Absolutely. But in the mix of practicing and preparing for games, watching film and so forth, Bill Belichick has an expectation. And if you don't meet that expectation and don't make the necessary sacrifices, Bill Belichick doesn't want anything to do with you. He don't want anything to do with you. And so it's crazy because there's been some great players. And one that comes to mind is Chad Ochocinco, who I love and got a lot of respect for. Chad had a great career, one of the greatest receivers in NFL history. But when Chad went to New England, he wasn't able to adapt to the culture in New England, and he really didn't really have much of a career when he was in New England. He really didn't. And so I think you have to understand what that culture was in New England and what Bill Belichick built. And so, man, the stability. And another stat, Bill Belichick coached football teams. They were the true definition of when you make a mistake, they will make you pay. In the Bill Belichick era, the New England Patriots were 17-0 whenever the opposing team turned the football over. Think about that for a second. In the playoffs, 17-0 whenever the opposing team makes a mistake and turns the football over. So that means they capitalize off your mistakes. So I got a lot of great thoughts on Bill Belichick, and I got a ton of respect for what he was able to accomplish in 24 years at being the New England Patriots head coach. And again, also, too, one thing I want to say also about Bill Belichick, honestly, if it wasn't for Bill Belichick, it's a possibility that Tom Brady never gets discovered. Remember, when Tom Brady took over the job in New England as their head coach, the quarterback was Drew Bledsoe, and Drew Bledsoe was a proven NFL quarterback who had just got paid a ton of money. And Bill Belichick, he had the courage to keep Tom Brady in as his starting quarterback, even though Drew Bledsoe was on the team. And this is something that it was controversial because people were thinking, we're paying Drew Bledsoe all this money. We don't know anything about this Tom Brady kid. And I thought Bill Belichick having Tom Brady in that moment start for him and put the trust in Tom Brady to lead the Patriots football team, it says a lot about Bill Belichick and his ability to recognize talent when he sees it. And he was able to recognize Tom Brady because that was Drew Bledsoe's football team. People don't really remember or understand that was Drew Bledsoe's football team when Tom Brady took over as a starting quarterback. And Tom Brady took over as a starting quarterback, and the New England Patriots never looked back. And in the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era, they became the best quarterback head coach duo in NFL history. And they went 6-3 in the Super Bowl. So that was one of the great things I want to say about Bill Belichick. Now, let's transition to the other side and some things that not so great about Bill Belichick. We can't talk about Bill Belichick's legacy without talking about the bad things. One of the bad things that happened in the New England Patriots dynasty was Spygate and Deflategate. You got to bring that up. You have to mention that when you talk about how great Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots were. The one stain on Belichick's legacy in New England is Spygate and Deflategate. It's something that you have to discuss and talk about. That's one thing. Another thing is, even though Bill Belichick won 6 Super Bowls, he went to 9 Super Bowls. So he had 9 Super Bowl appearances. He went 6-3 in the Super Bowl, and his 2 out of those 3 losses came to Eli Manning. And while Eli Manning was one of the more clutch quarterbacks in NFL history, Eli Manning, in my opinion, was never viewed as an elite quarterback. I've never viewed Eli Manning as being elite. Hell, again, I don't even believe that Eli Manning is necessarily good. When I think about good quarterbacks, I think about Matt Ryan, I think about Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford. I have never viewed Eli Manning on any of those players I just named level. And Bill Belichick lost to Eli Manning twice in the Super Bowl. He didn't lose to Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. He didn't lose to Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl. He didn't lose to Drew Brees in the Super Bowl. He lost to Eli Manning twice. So to me, that has to count as a blemish on his resume because Eli Manning has never been great in my eyes. So that's another thing that I feel like you have to discuss when you talk about Bill Belichick. Also, Belichick, remember, when Tom Brady departed from New England, Belichick wanted Tom Brady gone. Tom Brady didn't want to leave New England. If it was up to Bill, if it was up to Tom Brady, I believe he would have wanted to retire a New England Patriot. But, and there's reports about this, everyone talks about this in New England. If Bill Belichick wanted Tom Brady to remain in New England, then Tom Brady would have stayed in New England and most likely would have retired a New England Patriot. Robert Kraft didn't want Tom Brady to leave New England, and neither did Tom Brady want to leave New England. Bill Belichick wanted Tom Brady to leave. And so if you push out the greatest quarterback in NFL history with all the success that you have had as a head coach and a quarterback, then you have to receive some of that blame once your plan doesn't work. So let's look at what Bill Belichick has done over the last 4 years since Tom Brady has departed from New England. Since Tom Brady has left New England, Bill Belichick, his record is 47-57. And in the 4 years since Brady left New England, the Patriots went to the playoffs one time. That was in the 2021 season. They went to the playoffs one time, and they got bum rushed by Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And so you can make a legitimate argument that since Brady departed from New England, they haven't been the same ever since. And this is why I understand some people who believe that I understand their position, but I don't necessarily agree. But I understand why those are individuals out there who are Tom Brady fans who give Brady more credit than Belichick when it comes to the Patriots dynasty. There are people out there who believe that Tom Brady deserves more credit, and I understand why. Because once Brady left New England, they've been 47-57 ever since and have one playoff appearance in 4 years. One. And also, the other thing with Bill Belichick is, remember after Mac Jones' rookie season, he brought in Joe Judge and Matt Patricia as his offensive coordinators for Mac Jones. Now, I'm not the biggest Mac Jones fan, but to me, Mac Jones was never put in a position to succeed after his rookie season. Not at all. Not at all. And that was my biggest issue with Bill Belichick. To me, offensively, he dropped the ball for the Patriots after Tom Brady left New England all the way around. Like, he never was able to draft offensive personnel. And you have to be able to adapt to today's NFL. That whole idea of run the football and play great defense, those days are gone. They're gone. You have to be able to put up points in the NFL. And that's been my biggest issue with the Patriots over the last few years. Offensively, they just have not been very good overall as a football team. Even this year, they were ranked 31st in total yards per game. They were ranked 28th in passing yards per game, 26th in rushing yards per game, averaging 14 points per game. That was tied for 31st. So I believe that Bill Belichick's inability to draft offensive personnel and put together a great support system for Mac Jones is the reason why the Patriots have struggled since Tom Brady departed 4 years ago. And also, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, which also, after the divorce, means that Tom Brady essentially won the divorce. He won the divorce. But I think it was time for the Patriots to move on from Bill Belichick, and it was time for a new era in New England. And again, his inability to draft offensive personnel, that derailed him. That derailed Bill Belichick. But he had a great head coaching career in New England. He still wants to coach. And these are the head coaching vacancies that's out there. Chargers, Commanders, Falcons, Panthers, Raiders, Seahawks, Titans. I feel like the best destination for Bill Belichick is the LA Chargers. Because if you go into LA, you are the head coach and you already have a great quarterback in Justin Herbert to build around. And I think that would set Belichick up for future success. So I think the best head coaching vacancy for Bill Belichick is the LA Chargers. Falcons don't have a quarterback. Commanders, I don't believe in Sam Howell. Panthers got Bryce Young, but he's short, and he didn't play well in his rookie season. And I'm looking at these other jobs. The Titans, they don't really have a proven quarterback either. So the only head coaching vacancy that has a proven quarterback is Justin Herbert. That is the best destination for Bill Belichick. But shout out to Bill Belichick and shout out to the New England Patriots for a tremendous dynasty during his 24 seasons as their head coach and their general manager. It's a time in my life I will never, ever forget. Everybody go follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. I'll be right back. And welcome back to Wise Guys. These guys know sports. Here live on the Worldwide Sports Network. Everybody remember go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. Come on in and sit a while, folks. We are in the middle of an action jam-packed show. Remember, the number to dial, 513-203-8655, 513-203-8655. That is the number to dial. Any particular topic you want to discuss, any matchup in the NFL, wild card, weekend that you're interested in talking about, we can talk about it on the show this afternoon. Let's transition to college football as we are at the end of an era in college football, specifically with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Nick Saban has retired after 17 seasons as Alabama head coach. This comes after 7 national championships, 6 with Alabama, 1 with LSU, and that's the most in the AP poll era. Nick Saban is officially calling it quits. And here's a statement from Nick Saban after he announced he's retiring after 17 seasons with Alabama. This is Nick Saban. The University of Alabama has been a very special place to Terry and me. We have enjoyed every minute of our 17 years being the head coach at Alabama, as well as becoming a part of the Tuscaloosa community. It is not just about how many games we won and lost, but it's about the legacy and how we went about it. That was Nick Saban after he retired after 17 seasons being the head coach with the Alabama Crimson Tide. So, my immediate reaction to Nick Saban retiring from college football was I was absolutely stunned. I couldn't believe what I had saw come across my phone when the news broke about Nick Saban retiring. I did not see this coming. You know, sometimes in sports, we see things coming. Like, I had a feeling that Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots were going to part ways after the season. I was just waiting on the confirmation and the report to come out. But I had a feeling that it was going to happen. I did not see this one coming, though. I didn't see Nick Saban retiring after the great season that Alabama had this year, considering they overachieved. But with that being said, despite how surprised I was at Nick Saban retiring after 17 seasons with the Alabama Crimson Tide, my first thought was Nick Saban is the greatest college football head coach in college football history. It's that simple. You look at Nick Saban's resume in 16 seasons at Alabama. I said 17. He's been coaching for 17 years, but it was 16 at Alabama. In 16 years at Alabama, Nick Saban, he went 199-23, so he won 90% of his games, 9 SEC titles, 6 national championships, and also he produced 49 first-round NFL draft picks. He finished top 10 in the AP poll for 16 consecutive years. 16 consecutive years, he finished top 10. He produced 4 Heisman Trophy winners. He is the greatest college football head coach in college football history. And this is something else to keep in mind. The 49 first-round draft picks, he had more first-round draft picks than losses. Think about that. Nick Saban had 29 losses during his tenure as the Alabama Crimson Tide head coach. 29 losses. He had 49 first-round draft picks. The man had more first-round draft picks Then he had losses. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And so, for me, I thought this year, he actually had his greatest coaching performance in his 17 years at being at Alabama. That Alabama football team, that team this year, they weren't as good this year as they have been in previous years. And here they are in the college football playoff going toe-to-toe with the Michigan Wolverines, who eventually won the national championship, but they went to overtime against Alabama. It was because of Nick Saban. Like, I can't talk about enough the stability between Bill Belichick in New England and Nick Saban at Alabama to be there 17 years. Again, so I'm 33. So 17 years ago, I was 16. I was 16, and this man has been the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and they have been the best college football team in those 17 years. They have been a true dynasty in college football. They've been better than the Georgia Bulldogs. They've been better than the Ohio State Buckeyes. They've been better than the USC Trojans, who haven't been great lately, but they had a run. I don't think I've ever seen a better run in college football than what Alabama has done during Nick Saban's tenure. And to me, what makes you a great coach is not only how you coach your players, but what kind of opportunities you can open up for coaches on your coaching staff. I'm looking at some of these coaches who've coached under Nick Saban. Brian Daboll, Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin, Billy Napier, Charles Huff, Steve Sarkisian, Brent Key, Dan Lanning. He's the head coach for Oregon. Lance Taylor. I'm only naming a few, but it's so many. The head coaching tree from Nick Saban, it's so many coaches on here. Like, I can't believe it. Mark D'Antonio, he used to coach for the Bearcats back in the day. Will Muschamp, he coached for the Florida Gators. Jason Garrett. This is the coaching tree from Nick Saban. So, I mean, one of the best gifts I feel like a person can have is their ability to not only help themselves, but help others around you. That's when you become a great person to me. You could be great at a particular job, right? But what makes an individual a great person and what makes them have great character, to me, is someone who helps everyone win. It ain't just about me. It's someone who helps everyone win. And that's what Nick Saban was able to do at Alabama. And when I think about greatest coaches in sports history, I think about Phil Jackson in the NBA. I think about Red Auerbach in the NBA as well. I think about Greg Popovich, okay, in baseball. I think about Tony La Russa. I think about Joe Torre. And in the NFL, I think about Bill Belichick. I think about Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid, Sean Payton. To me, you have to also include Nick Saban in the greatest coaches in football history conversation. Like, when I think about just football, right, and I think about coaches, like, who coached the game of football, whether it's at the collegiate level or the NFL level, you have to include Nick Saban in that conversation. And in my eyes, he's top five. When I think about like best coaches at the NFL level or college level, he's easily top five, maybe top three. Seriously. He's right there in that conversation with the Bill Belichicks of the world and the Andy Reids of the world. And honestly, he's the greatest college football head coach in college football history. And it's not close. It's not close. He's the greatest college football coach I've ever seen coach by far. And, man, I kind of wish we knew, because I feel like Nick Saban needed some type of retirement ceremony in his last season, but it's reports that he's going to take a big deal and he's going to be on TV moving forward. I'm not sure. This has not been reported yet, hasn't come out, but I've heard that through the grapevine that Nick Saban is going to remain a part of the college football community. He's just not going to be no longer coaching. But when you've won and had the success that Nick Saban has had, you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want. Well, Nick Saban can do whatever the hell he wants. I remember he did come to the NFL for a little while. I think he actually coached under Bill Belichick at one point, and I think he also had a run with the Miami Dolphins. Didn't work out, but he came back to college football, and college football was for Nick Saban, and he had a tremendous, tremendous career. And I was looking at something the other day, and it was talking about how Nick Saban, like the players that has played for Nick Saban, like I'm thinking about like Jalen Hurts, you got Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. And then you look at some receivers that he had. He had Devontae Smith. He had Jaden Waddle as well. So many great college football players who played for Nick Saban. I know I'm leaving some people out, but I mean, it's just amazing. It really, really is. All the players that he had. I wish I could find it, man. I was looking for it. It was something where they were talking about all the players who played under Nick Saban. And so, man, okay, coaches as well. Notable former assistants under Nick Saban. I forgot about Jimbo Fisher as well. Jimbo Fisher also coached under Nick Saban. And so, man, Julio Jones as well. He played for Nick Saban. So many greats. So shout out to Nick Saban, man. He pretty much can do whatever the hell he wants. I hope he rides off into the sunset and, talk some college football for many years to come. And then another thing, real quick, he coached in the SEC. That's what also we're not taking into consideration. He coached in the best football conference in college football. You got the Georgias of the world, the Floridas of the world, the Tennessees of the world, Auburn. You got to think Florida had a run with Urban Meyer where they were winning titles. Georgia had a run under Kirby Smart over the last few years where they have won titles. Auburn had Cam Newton, and they won a national championship as well. Mississippi, LSU, so many great teams in the SEC, and Nick Saban was the greatest head coach in college football history. So, man, you got to also take that into consideration. His competition. The competition, and year in and year out, the Alabama Crimson Tide, they were competing for championships because of Nick Saban. So shout out to Nick Saban, and I wish him well moving forward, and I'm glad he's going to still be a part of the college football community moving forward. Everybody go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. Be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. Joining me after the break will be my man Chris. He'll be on here shortly. I'll be right back. And welcome back to Wise Guys. These guys know sports. Here live on the Worldwide Sports Network. Remember, going to follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. I want to take some time and welcome to the show Deadspin writer Chris Partee. What's up, Chris?
Trey, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
Can you hear me, Chris?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
You there, Chris?
I'm right here. You got me? Hold on. I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you. There you go. We got Chris now.
Okay.
So what's up, Chris? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I knew you was gonna be in a good mood today. You know, I know you see what I got on. I wore this just for you. I knew you were in a good mood today, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wear this for my man Trey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm good though, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. So let's talk some college football first, Chris. And obviously this week, the big news in college football. Nick Saban retires after 17 seasons as the Alabama head coach. And so obviously during his tenure, 7 national championships, 6 with Alabama, 1 with LSU. So what was your reaction to Nick Saban retiring?
I didn't see it coming. I don't think, unless you were within the inner circle, I don't think anyone can truthfully say, "Oh, I saw this coming." Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just talked about it. They had a good season. They had a really good season, great season even. I mean, they were right there, that close away from going back to another national championship against the team that eventually won the national championship. And you'd have to think that had they been able to pull it out against Michigan, they probably go ahead and beat Washington as well. As good as Washington was this year, they probably weren't going to match up with Alabama either. So when I heard the news, I was like, wow, because it felt like he still had something in the tank as far as coaching. But I honestly feel like NIL had something to do with his decision. I really do, because it's no longer going to be a foregone conclusion that everybody, all the top recruits, want to just go to Alabama.
Yeah.
It's going to be about where the money is, right? And we've seen that these last couple of years, first 2-3 years, whatever it is, of NIL. You got other schools getting in the mix, because they might be able to, throw up some money. So, and there's other options, a lot. And then with the transfer portal, there's so many options now for kids. You don't have to go and just, on one hand, people might say, okay, kids don't want to compete, but if you're going to be the 3rd or 4th running back behind a couple different guys at Alabama, but you can play and you have other opportunities, well, then a lot of people are going to seek those out. And I don't really fault kids for doing that.
Yeah, I agree. But it's just crazy because I'm looking at too, Chris, the players that played for Saban. Like I think about Jalen Hurts. I think about Tua Tagovailoa, Mac Jones at quarterback, at receiver, Julio Jones, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. So many great players who went on to the NFL and had great NFL careers. It's just amazing what he was able to do and the talent. Like I was saying it earlier on the show, I was talking about he had 49 first-round NFL draft picks. The man, what's even crazier is the man only had 29 losses in his career. He had more first-round draft picks than he had losses. That is unbelievable.
I mean, it's one of those runs where you and I, even though we're still pretty young, we probably won't see another run like that in our lifetime.
Agreed.
I mean, it's just what was it, 17 years he's there. And if you want to just take his whole college career into scope, people forget he won a national championship at LSU.
Yes.
Like that's one of the 7. That was the first one of the 7 right there. So this run that he's been on, if you just take, even just Alabama the last 17 years, I mean, at one point before the last couple years, they were pretty much going and winning a national championship every other year on average.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, that's just unheard of.
It's unheard of. Agreed. And to your point, Chris, sometimes I'll be having to go back, and I remember this was probably within the last 3 years, man. I had to go back and look at when he won a championship for LSU because I forgot about that one. I forgot because he's
6 or something like that.
Yeah, because he won so much with Alabama, you kind of forget about that first title.
Yeah, and then he won at LSU. He went to the NFL briefly to coach the Dolphins. That didn't work out.
Yep.
Came back, and then, like they say, the rest is just history because he just went on we used the phrase epic run. I think we overuse that sometimes, like people use the word great, but he really had an epic run.
Absolutely. And also for me, what's crazy is, Chris, the more I think about it, what he was able to do this year, to me, I believe this was probably his best, coaching performance in his 17 years at Alabama. This 2023 Alabama team, they weren't as good this year like they have been in previous years. And for him to get them to the college football playoff, and remember in the SEC championship, they beat Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs hadn't lost in 2 years. They hadn't lost in 2 years, and they lost to Nick Saban and Alabama in the SEC championship. And he gets them to the national championship, and they go to overtime against the Michigan Wolverines, who obviously won, but they were in overtime. They could have won that game, Chris.
They were right there. They were definitely right there. I mean, like I said, epic run. And to speak to the point that you just mentioned there, how this Alabama team was not as good as what we've seen in the past. Yeah, they didn't have the talent this year that we've seen. You know what I mean?
Yes, agreed.
Just over the overall talent. Yeah. So for him to have such a great coaching job, but again, coaching makes up the difference when you don't, obviously they have top talent, but when you may not have as much talent as a Georgia, coaching is going to fill that gap. And the program that he's had in place for damn near 20 years, that's going to help. And the discipline, all these other things you can mention, all that's going to help you overcome when you don't always have the top or upper echelon,
yes,
talent.
Absolutely. And then, so I'm one of those people, Chris, I believe that any individual could be great at their profession, but what makes someone a great person and have great character is when you can create opportunities for others to be successful. And Nick Saban was the true definition of that, because these are former assistants under Nick Saban. Kirby Smart, Steve Sarkisian, Jimbo Fisher, Lane Kiffin, Billy Napier, Dan Lanning, Lance Taylor, Charles Huff, Butch Jones. I mean, it's unbelievable when you think about the coaches who coached under Nick Saban and how he was able to teach them certain things, and they learned things, working under Nick Saban, and they were able to go out and have successful head coaching careers after they left Alabama. It's just unbelievable, man, what he's been able to do for other coaches as well.
It really is. And one thing that you don't hear all the time when we compare all these great coaches, Nick Saban, similar to a Bill Belichick, and even if you go way far back to a Bill Walsh is the coaching tree.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, now, not all of Bill Belichick's assistants were successful head coaches, but he had so many guys come out and still got guys that are getting head coaching opportunities. You know what I mean? Like so many guys off of those trees have gone on to be head coaches, and some have had long tenures, others have not. But it's just amazing to have that many coaches and that much talent in the, in those locker rooms as coaches, not just on the field, but as coaches, that much talent under one guy for however many years. It's amazing.
It's amazing, man. And so for me, I was just saying earlier when I was talking about Nick Saban, when you talk about the story and you talk about the best coaches in football history. So I ain't talking about just NFL or just college. I'm talking about just best coaches in football history, whether it's high school, college, NFL. You got to have Nick Saban top 5, probably even top 3 in that conversation, Chris. Like we're gonna talk about Bill Belichick here shortly, but Nick Saban is in that conversation for top 5 just coaches in football history. Period.
Yeah, he's got to be. Definitely top. After this run, How can you leave him out? He won 7 national titles in 17 years. 6 in 17 at Alabama, and then the other one before at LSU in the beginning there. But how you can't leave him out of that conversation. I mean, we always talk about, can you have the conversation about the sport of football or the sport of college football without this guy? No. Definitely, when you talk about college football, you can't skip over Nick Saban. You just can't. He's done far too much. Far too much.
Agreed. Now let's transition to the NFL, Chris. As the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick, they agreed to part ways after 24 seasons. And Bill Belichick, he won 6 Super Bowls. His last Super Bowl came in 2018. And so what was your immediate reaction once you heard the news of the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick parting ways?
Well, I mean, this one was the opposite. Now, I don't think anyone was shocked at this. It's safe to say the writing was on the wall. I have some friends that are, from the New England area, Boston area, or they are fans, have been for a long time. Everybody kind of saw this coming, especially after this season. We'd heard the rumors. Initially when you see it, it's like, damn, it really happened. But, if it seems like Bill still wants to coach.
Yeah.
So now we're hearing all these teams pop up to where he might end up. So it's not the same feeling as Nick Saban, because Nick Saban looks like he's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's gone. Now, he could obviously change his mind and want to come back and do something somewhere else in a year or two, but he's also 72 years old himself, I believe, is Nick Saban. So I don't see him sitting out a couple of years and then deciding to come back. You know what I mean? I think he's probably done. I mean, he's done enough. His legacy is solidified. Maybe he could add another couple national titles, but that's not going to change anything for him. And then with Bill Belichick, I believe Bill Belichick still has something to prove, because there's a lot of folks out there that talk about the whole, was it Brady? Was it more Brady? Was it more Belichick? And then with Brady having the success that he had in Tampa, I mean, they won the Super Bowl his first year there. Now, they did have a good roster already. They were basically they needed the right quarterback to come in there and take them to the promised land. But they did it. He got it done. So I really think Bill Belichick wants to prove he can be successful without Tom Brady. He'll probably never talk about that or admit that publicly. But I think that's something that he wants to do, because they made the playoffs that first year without Brady. It wasn't a great season, but they made it. But these last couple of years, it's been rough. I mean, it has been rough. Mac Jones, was not the guy. I mean, we saw that clearly. Mac Jones, at least not under Bill Belichick, he wasn't. Mac Jones is not the guy. So I think Belichick, now, it's vital for him to, make the right decision in where he goes as head coach this time. Yeah. Because if he goes somewhere and he's just mediocre for, 3-4 years, there are going to be a lot of people that start to kind of downplay what he was able to accomplish in New England, which I don't think is right, but it's going to happen. It's already happening.
Yeah. Agreed. And so during his tenure in 24 years at being the head coach for the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick went 296-133, won 30 playoff games, won 17 AFC East titles, 9 AFC championships, won 6 Super Bowls.
Wild.
And so obviously, though, Chris, there are other all-time great NFL head coaches. You got Don Shula, you got Andy Reid, Vince Lombardi, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bill Walsh. The list goes on and on and on. Do you believe that Bill Belichick is the greatest NFL head coach of all time?
It's not him and Bill Walsh, in my opinion, because the thing about Bill Walsh, he created an offense that teams still run today. Literally more than half the league runs some implementation of the West Coast offense. Yeah. That's not hyperbole. That's just fact right there. So you got to mention Bill Walsh. I believe the Niners won 3 of those Super Bowls under Bill Walsh while he was there. I mean, how can you overlook Bill Walsh, right? You just can't. But when it comes to winning and you talk about Super Bowls and that's the ultimate goal, it's hard to look past Bill Belichick. It really is. It's just really hard. I mean, the other guys you mentioned, Don Shula, he was able to win 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He had Dan Marino for 17 years, I believe, and they got to one. They lost and never got back, and that was Dan Marino's second year in the league. So you mentioned Andy Reid. Andy Reid has 2, but Andy Reid's going to have to win at least 2 more.
At least.
Get to 4, and then also probably become the all-time, leader in wins for head coaches. So he's got a ways to go if he wants to pass Bill Belichick as well, or really even Bill Walsh if you want to put it like that. So yeah, we've seen some great head coaches in the NFL, but again, it's tough for me to put anybody past Bill.
Yeah,
the hoodie as they call him.
Yeah. And another thing too, I think we don't really give Bill enough credit for, Chris, is remember before Tom Brady was great, we didn't really know anything about Tom Brady when he first got into the NFL, and the starting quarterback for the Patriots was Drew Bledsoe. Remember, they had paid Drew Bledsoe a lot of money, and Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback for the team moving forward. And Belichick, he put Brady in a position to be successful, and he inserted him into the starting lineup as their quarterback. And to me, it was kind of controversial, Chris, because the Patriots were paying Bledsoe all that money. They were paying Bledsoe all that money. So you can make a legitimate argument that if it wasn't for Bill Belichick, Tom Brady may have never gotten discovered. To that you say what?
I mean, truth be told, Bill Belichick, and I mean, it's out there, it's been reported, it's been written about, talked about. Bill Belichick was not the biggest fan of Drew Bledsoe. Truth be told, it's almost like he was looking for any reason to move on from Drew Bledsoe. So yeah. Drew Bledsoe, he got hurt. He wasn't just benched; he got hurt. Brady comes in, the team does. Now, Brady, it wasn't like Brady was just killing it, but he wasn't making big mistakes. He was managing the team at that time before he really became the Tom Brady we grew to know and love, right?
Yeah.
He was more of a game manager, but he wasn't making the big mistakes. The team was winning. Bledsoe was ready to come back. And, he even played in one of those playoff games that year.
He did. I didn't remember that. I didn't know that.
I forget what it might have been. I can't remember which one exactly, but he did come in because Brady, got hurt briefly. He came in briefly to play for Brady, but they, obviously they went back to Brady, won the Super Bowl, and then they went on to do their dynasty and all those things. But so and another thing I don't think Belichick gets credit for is, like you said, he stuck with Brady. He went with Brady, even against the grain when you had a high-paid first-round number 1 pick in Drew Bledsoe. Not a 6th-round pick or a 5th, for a number 1 pick in Bledsoe. And Bledsoe had already been there for years. They'd gone to a Super Bowl already with Bledsoe as quarterback in against the Packers, against your Packers.
Yeah.
In 96. So they had
96.
They had been there with Bledsoe. But he felt like, it was like Bledsoe's time was pretty much up and he wanted to move on. So that's what happened. And, the rest is history, because here's the thing. If he goes back the other way and sits Brady, who knows if we're sitting here talking about him in the same light? We just don't know.
Agreed. Agreed. But the thing is with Belichick, Chris, you can't talk about the good without the bad. I feel like when you talk about the bad, we got to talk about Deflategate, Spygate. You got to bring that up. When you're talking about the story of Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, you have to bring up Spygate and Deflategate. And also, remember when Tom Brady departed from New England? Tom Brady didn't want to leave New England.
No.
Robert Kraft didn't want Tom Brady to leave New England.
Nope.
Bill Belichick wanted Tom Brady to leave New England. And so after Brady leaves New England, the Patriots record without Tom Brady is 47-57. And it's been 4 years since Brady left. And in those 4 years, they've made the playoffs once. And they got bum rushed by Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills in 2021. And so they haven't been the same ever since Tom Brady left. So to me, if you push Tom Brady out the back door, you got to be ready for the criticism that comes your way if your plan doesn't work post Tom Brady. And it didn't work, Chris. It didn't work. So what do you feel about Bill Belichick and his coaching, legacy per se after Tom Brady departed from New England?
Well, I mean, do you see a pattern there? I just told you about the thing with Bledsoe, right? And then you saw pretty much the same thing with Brady as Brady got older. I mean, honestly, he wanted Brady out before Brady was actually out because he wanted Jimmy Garoppolo
Yep.
to replace Brady.
Yeah.
So I mean, we know the Belichick story, and then you mentioned Deflategate and the other gate they had. I mean, or the spying on teams, filming them, Filmgate, Spygate, whatever you want to call it. I mean, yeah, those things are going to affect Brady, but I'm sorry, are going to affect Belichick's legacy. But it feels like people who have kind of just overlooked that and let it slide. It's like, whatever, he's still one of the greatest of all time, because even with the Deflategate thing, they came back out, what was the second half against the Colts, and they did what they needed to do. Right. They got the job done. So that one might be a little more on Brady. Let's be honest. He's the one dealing with the footballs, right? Now, I'm not saying Belichick wasn't, aware of what was happening, but Brady's the one dealing with the football. So that one might be more on him, actually, in my opinion. But Belichick, I mean, you can't take away from his legacy, because, I mean, here's the thing, man. All these teams are trying to get an advantage.
Agreed.
They just were not good at not getting caught. Patriots got caught multiple times trying to get an advantage. Other teams have been caught, trying to get other advantages as well. It's just not but when you're winning as much as they did win, if it's perceived that you're cheating, it's going to be made a big deal. Look at the Houston Astros in MLB.
Yeah.
Right? The whole sign stealing thing. If they're not winning World Series, then no one cares about that. Guys are stealing signs all the time. It's baseball. All right.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
I'm not, giving it a pass and saying that it's right, but it does happen. But when you win that much and you get caught, then people are going to have something to say about it, of course. But now, I don't think it affects his legacy, really. He's still the greatest NFL coach we've seen.
Yeah, for sure. Now, let's transition, Chris, and let's go to NFL Super Wild Card Weekend. We got some big time matchups, and we're going to start off in Dallas with your Dallas Cowboys and my Green Bay Packers. So,
oh man,
yeah, we got to start there. It's the 9-8 Packers versus the 12-5 Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 7 points. It's a 4:30 p.m. kickoff in Dallas. The over/under for this matchup, 50.5. So, Chris, you are a big time Cowboys fan. What are your expectations for Packers Cowboys Sunday?
I'm somebody in this business that keeps it real. I'm not a fanboy, none of that. But the run is over for Green Bay. I'm sorry, Trey. I'm trying to break this to you, my man.
Yeah.
But there's no way Green Bay should win this game. Now, that doesn't mean Dallas isn't capable of having one of those games where they just don't show up and nothing. Because we saw it a few times this year where it was like they just didn't show up for the game, right? But usually that happens on the road. They've won 18 in a row at home.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to come in there right now with the Packers are a really young team. I mean,
they are. Yep.
I was impressed by Jordan Love, and week to week, especially after those first 4 or 5 weeks, you could really see improvement every game. He improved. I mean, a lot of people don't even realize he ended the season second in touchdown passes behind Dak.
Yep.
He threw 32. Dak threw 38. He ended second in the league. So, I mean, but again, just overall talent, Dallas is one of those teams that is super talented. There's no reason why the Cowboys should lose this game. There really isn't. Now, of course, anything can happen. Yeah. But there's really no reason why they shouldn't lose this game. And I think they will cover that 7 points. That doesn't mean the game can't be close. There's a touchdown, that's still pretty close. But I think they should cover this game, 28-20, somewhere around there, 28-21, somewhere around there. But Cowboys should not lose this. And if they do lose this game, then there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Questions for this team who had a bunch of all-pros, voted on by the players and by the media. Dak is second team all-pro. Like, there's no reason for them to lose this game, but they got to stay focused, though. They can't if they come in and overlook the Packers, they could be in for an upset. Yeah.
And so it's funny, Chris, because I know you're a Cowboys fan, and so obviously, and I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. All week, I've been listening to, sports shows. I listened to Nick Wright on FS1. He said he would be shocked if the Cowboys don't blow out the Packers. I'm listening to so many people who talk football, everyone, including you, my brother, everyone is counting out my Packers. And I'm sitting there thinking, we get the youngest team in the NFL. Really, the Packers are the youngest team in NFL history to make the playoffs.
Yep, they are that, yeah.
Yeah, Jordan Love is in his first year starting. And on the flip side, the Cowboys got Dak Prescott, a proven quarterback in the NFL. They got Mike McCarthy, a Super Bowl winning head coach. And they got Micah Parsons on defense, arguably the best defensive player in the NFL. And they have all the pressure, and the Packers have zero pressure. So, honestly, I feel great, Chris. I feel great as we head into the weekend, and it's getting closer. I'm feeling great about my Packers' chances at being able to pull an upset. Because if we win, not only will it be a huge upset, but probably Mike McCarthy will get fired. Let's call a spade a spade. If Mike McCarthy, especially, and it's the thing, Chris, it ain't just about losing. It's who you lost to. That means he would have lost to Matt LaFleur, who replaced him. Remember, Matt LaFleur replaced Mike McCarthy. So you lost to your former team? Like, for me, I think the Cowboys, it ain't really about reaching the Super Bowl. They need to reach the NFC Championship for it to be a successful season. See, the Packers already have had a successful season. Like, at this point, we're playing with house money. You know, if you're at the casino and you win a couple dollars, you up $100, $300, $500, you feel like, man, I already won some money, so I'm feeling great. That's how the Packers are feeling right now. Cowboys, on the flip side, they that person at the casino that they ain't got nothing. They got everything to lose, everything. And they putting a lot of money down. And so I'm gonna be honest. This is the makings of an upset. And if it happens, man, again, I don't know if Mike McCarthy survives. And we got to start asking the question: will Dak Prescott ever lead the Cowboys not to a Super Bowl, but to an NFC Championship game if the Packers can pull off the upset? So I think it's set up for it. But the Cowboys have been the better team throughout the season. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean, they're the better team now. I'm not completely counting out the Packers, but, you know, if I'm just keeping it real, I mean, there's no reason, like I said, there's no reason for Dallas to lose this game. Now, and this playoff run here could be a legacy-defining one for Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
You just mentioned it. They haven't been able to get to the NFC Championship with him. Now, hell, even before it's been 28 years since they got to the NFC Championship, right? So just in general, the last few regimes have not been able to get it done. It used to be Super Bowl or bust for the Cowboys. That's true. It used to be. Now, just get to the NFC Championship. Get there.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's a step in the right direction. You can't keep hitting your head on the wild card in the divisional round if you're this talented. If you're this talented with a group that's been together for a while, for the most part, same coach for 4 years now, 3 straight 12-win seasons, couple division titles, all these other things, all these accolades, all pros, everything, you know, everybody's going to the Pro Bowl and all these things, but you can't get out of the divisional round.
Yep.
One of those years you got knocked out in the wild card round by the 49ers.
Yep.
Eventually you got to break through. So
last year they lost in the divisional round to the Niners too. Remember, they lost to the Niners in the divisional round. Last 2 years. Yep.
Yeah, last year's lost to the Niners. So, and in my opinion, I think that's the only team right now that's really that the Cowboys are going to have issues with. The Lions, outside shot, but I actually been picking the Rams to beat the Lions this week. The Lions might not even be there, but yeah. If they lose, Mike McCarthy, it's going to be a tough conversation with Jerry Jones. I put it like that. Agreed. I'm not saying he's done for good, like done for sure, but it's going to be a tough conversation if the Cowboys lose to the Packers at home this week.
Especially with Bill Belichick being out there, Chris. With Bill especially with Bill Belichick being a free agent.
But with hell, Jim Harbaugh's out there. I mean, there's guys out there right now.
Yep.
Pete Carroll's out. I mean, there's guys out there that are legit Super Bowl winning. And also McCarthy is too, but I would probably take most of those other guys over McCarthy.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to keep it real. Let's be honest. So, can't lose this game. They cannot lose this game.
And I think it's important, Chris. I'm going to be honest. I think it's important for the Cowboys to send a message to the Packers early in the game. Like, I think they need to get off to a nice start against the Packers because I'm going to be honest, Chris, and you know this is true. I know you're going to watch it and you're going to see it. If the game is close going into the fourth quarter,
Oh yeah.
That's when it could get interesting.
Dak in that offense, they get tight sometimes in close games.
Yes.
I'll give you that. For me, with the Packers, play keep away. Packers, you can run the ball.
Yep.
Keep that offense off the field.
Yep.
And that defense doesn't necessarily want to sit there and stop the run all day. They want to get after the quarterback, right?
Yep.
Dallas's defense. So play keep away. Don't let Dak stay on the field for, 35, 40 minutes in the game. Because if that happens, the Packers probably aren't going to win this game.
Oh, I agree. I think we need to definitely play ball control, run the football with Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has been playing well the last 3 weeks, yes. Chris. Yeah, you got to run the football with Aaron Jones. But I just think if it's close in the second half, Packers playing with house money, I could see Matt LaFleur being aggressive and allowing Jordan Love to fling that football and put some pressure on Dallas. I feel like Dallas, if it can go one or two ways. I actually feel like either the Cowboys is going to blow the Packers out or the Packers could win in a close one. Either way, it's going to be fun Sunday, man. I'm going to definitely be in contact with you. And I'm going to definitely bring you back on next week, too. And we're going to talk more about it for sure. Give me some of your predictions for the other wild card matchups, starting with the Browns-Texans Saturday afternoon in Houston. What you got, Browns-Texans? You got me a score?
I got the Browns. I'm gonna go with the Browns. I'll go 27-21. I think it'll be fairly close, but Joe Flacco has been on an epic run. It's been a short one, but 5-6 games or whatever it is like that. But his overall postseason record. Now I know it's been a while since he played in the postseason, but he's 10-5, if I'm not mistaken, in his career. And we all want to go back to that run he had with the Ravens when they won it all in 2012. I mean, he was magnificent. I mean, he's shown that he's clutch.
Agreed.
That's how I would say it. Joe Flacco is a clutch quarterback now. And again, I think with the Texans, it's kind of like with the Packers. I mean, even though the Texans are the home team, no one expecting them to win the division this year with a rookie quarterback.
Agreed.
CJ Stroud been killing it, man. Nobody. Oh, if they lose this game, it's almost like, this is just the beginning, though, right?
Yep.
Now, if they win it, then it's like, we may have the making of, one of the next really good, possibly great teams coming up in the next few years. Even if they don't win this, they can still be that. But I don't think a lot of people are expecting the Texans to win this, one, because of the rookie quarterback. But again, at this point, if you just look at everything, you can't necessarily say that Flacco is just hands down the better quarterback just because he has the experience.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? A big thing for me is the Browns defense. That defense is a problem.
Yep.
That defense is for real. That's what I think they're going to ride. As long as Flacco is not making a lot of mistakes and turnovers, that could ride them, to a potential AFC championship appearance. Is the defense.
Yep. I agree. That defense definitely is elite. They play better at home, though. That Cleveland Browns defense, they play better at home than on the road.
But let's be honest, most teams play better at home.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Most teams. Now, there are some teams that are good on the road and at home, but I mean, for the most part, you're usually going to play better at home. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how it goes. That's
usually how it goes. Now, you remember in Week 16, the Browns they beat the Texans 36-22, but there was no C.J. Stroud in that game. It was Davis Mills for the Texans, so it was Mills, not Stroud. Obviously, that's a difference. It's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. What do you got in the Dolphins-Chiefs game in the Saturday night matchup?
I know everybody wants to write the Chiefs off, but this is just how, in my opinion, you're the champs until you're beaten. I don't think the Dolphins beat them this week. Maybe if it was in Miami, I'd give them more of a shot, obviously. But Tyreek Hill has been a little banged up. It's going to be really cold out there. He's known to drop balls even when it's not cold and there's rain or snow. So I could really see the Chiefs get, 35-14, 35-20. I could see, maybe not a complete blowout, but I can see them winning by at least double digits.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, discount that.
Yeah, for sure. I think they said the wind chill, Chris, is going to be it's going to feel like it's minus 23 outside.
Something ugly, man. Like something you don't even want to never know nothing about.
Man, for sure. What you got? Steelers, Bills.
This is a close one because I kind of feel the same way you feel about the Packers Cowboys. I feel like the Steelers, there's a possibility if they keep this game low scoring, the Bills might be in trouble. Now, I think the Bills are going to win the game. I'm not going against the grain like that, but the job that Mike Tomlin has done with this team, there's no way this roster should win 10 games.
Yeah.
No way, in my opinion. Especially you got the defense in place, but the offense is just not quite there. Now they played better, a little bit recently, but just overall, when you compare their offense to others in even the AFC or just even in really their division of the North, they don't have the same talent. They don't.
I agree. And they don't have a quarterback.
Exactly. I mean, was it 3 quarterbacks this year? But they won 10 games, Trey.
They did. I argue with my cousin all the time, Chris. My cousin's a big time Steelers fan. And I'll be honest, we got this thing where, the young folks, we say teams are trash. I tell my cousin all the time, the Steelers trash. Here they are 10-7. I think, but the reason why I say they trash is because I don't like how they play. I don't like their play style. I don't think, but here we are. Here we go. I don't. It's Mike Tomlin, man.
A win is the same whether you score 13 points or 33 points.
Agreed.
You get one win for that, right? As long as you win, that's what matters. They won 10 games. Nobody coming into the season, people say, oh, yeah, 6, 7, maybe 8 wins for the Steelers. They won 10 games, got into the playoffs. So you got to give them credit for that. But I think it ends this week. Buffalo at home. It's good. It's going to be bad weather there too in Buffalo. Buffalo should win this game.
For sure. Now, obviously, in the nightcap on Sunday, we got the LA Rams and the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford versus Jared Goff. Both quarterbacks going up against their former teams. Mm-hmm. What are your expectations for Rams Lions, Chris?
Well, I already mentioned it earlier. I got the Rams, man. They've been, 7 of the last 8 games. They were at a point to where they were being written off when they were like, I think 5-6 or whatever it was. They were completely written off. They went into a bye and then they came out and they've just run off, like I said, 7 out of 8 wins. I can see them winning this. Now, Ford Field is going to be rocking. This is the first, I guess, Lions playoff game. They had a Super Bowl there, but first Lions playoff game at Ford Field ever.
Yeah. So, I saw that.
They are going to be rocking. But yeah, I'm going with the hot hand on this one. I'm going with the hot hand. And I've picked against the Lions before, and their fans usually get at me about it online. So, I welcome it. It's all good. It's all in good fun, all in love. But I think the Rams are going to pull this out because when you get hot late, it's hard to stop that momentum sometimes when the team gets hot late like that. And they're just reeling off win after win after win. It's hard to stop that sometimes, even if they are the road team.
Agreed. I agree. Now, Monday night, we got the struggling Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. So, Jalen Hurts versus Baker Mayfield. Who you got in that matchup?
Struggling is not even the word, honestly, for the Eagles. There's so much coming out of that building right now. With there's reports now that some players on the team might be turning on the head coach, Nick Sirianni. I mean, you got so much coming out of there. It feels like he may have lost the locker room. Now, these are just reports. Who knows if it's true or not, but that's what we're hearing. Okay.
Yeah.
Even with that, I'm taking the Eagles to win this game. Now, I think it's going to be close. I don't think the Eagles are in a position to really blow anyone out right now. I don't think AJ Brown playing? I know he got hurt.
He's gonna play. I think he's gonna play. He's gonna go.
Okay, well, he's not. Well, nobody's 100% at this point, but he went down. Looked like he did something to his knee last week, so we'll see how effective he is. And he's been frustrated the last couple months.
Yeah,
with whether it's with his amount of touches or how the offense is, being run, whatever it is, he has not been happy. He's not as happy as he was last year when they were, doing what they did. And I didn't expect them to be that good last year. This is kind of, what they've done this year is kind of what I really expected last year. Thought they'd be good, but just, not great. So they kind of flip-flopped it on me. But I'm taking the Eagles to win this against the Bucs. The Bucs, in my opinion, overachieved even in a down year for the NFC South. Yeah, still overachieved in my opinion. I've never been the biggest fan of Baker Mayfield in the pros. I think he's average. But to me, he played well above average this year. He had a really good season. Able to get them, 9 wins? They win 9 games? 9 and 8?
I think they did. Yeah, they went 9-8 this year.
9-8. So again, not the strongest division, but hey, all you gotta do is win your division and you get in. So
and that defense for the Eagles been awful, Chris. Too, to your point, that they can't stop anybody. They've been awful defensively,
and that was their calling card last year.
Yeah,
partially was the defense. So, but again, still, I think they're gonna do enough to wake up and get it done this week, and then we see what happens with them next week.
Yes, sir. He is Chris. You can go and let everyone know they can follow you on social media, Chris.
I got it right here under me as well. Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky at Chris Partee. Also catch me on Deadspin every day, writing articles. A lot of stuff on the NFL. I do NBA stuff as well. A little bit of colleges, thrown in there as well. So I'm all over the place, man. Yes,
sir. He's the writer for Deadspin. He is Chris Partee. Chris, thanks for coming on, and I'm definitely gonna bring you on next week, and we can talk more some football for sure. I thank you for coming on this evening.
Oh, you'll be getting a text from me over the weekend. You already know that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna be talking for sure.
I'm gonna talk to you, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Have a good weekend, brother.
You too.
Go and follow my man Chris on all social media platforms. He definitely does some great work for sure. Everybody go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter. I'll be right back.
you still think about